We can start working the head by sculpting the placeholder we created before. So what I will do is that I will just slightly refine the shape of the jaw here, and I will push it slightly inward and make the angle for the neck and the jaw to be more obvious. Then I'm just slightly digging the jaw, and I will place the orbits, let's say the eye sockets, perfectly in the middle of the head, trying to make them as big as the room there is in the middle. Then I can slightly brush a nose out, so our character has his nose quite aligned with his forehead. And I will dug now the temples so that the cheeks will appear. So I'm currently working the skull shape. I'm not thinking about it having muscles for the time being. So I'm digging wherever there is no bone or there is some room, let's say. If you have skull reference, I advise you to use them. You can see here this S shape is very important because this is often an area that is mistaken, and by using this method, by creating the skull first, I will avoid making basic mistakes like the shape of the mouth. We often make the mouth flat from a front view while it's bended to your teeth, which are on a very curvy shape, so that will be wrong to start from a flat view. I will draw the mouth using the standard brush. It's just a landmark, I'm not fleshing it. I'm just making this bird shape to have some landmark, and I add in object mode a UV sphere with the standard 32 per 16 vertices. Then I will push inside the first edge loop and bevel by pressing Ctrl B the second edge loop. Then we can get outside of edit mode, smooth it, add a mirror modifier using the head as a source. I've also removed the center vertex, so that I have some hole in this eye and it looks easier to work on. So now that I have this nice landmark for the eye, I can push the outside of the eye cavity toward the back and start working on the eye area. So I'm just refining the nose rapidly to get flattened shape, so a very flat front part of the nose, and on the side also I try to make it slightly flattened, and then we'll flesh around the eyes so that we get something more realistic. So this is a common mistake. People tend to forget this fleshed area between the eyebrow and the eyelids. So this is how you get believable eye area. So I'm pushing here the cheekbone to make the orbit more prominent and to make the eyes more floating inside it. And then I will be able to flesh around the eyes to create some eyelid shape. So we will first sculpt our character with open eye because it's easier to figure out what's good or wrong when doing so. And we'll only close the eyes at the retopology stage because having a model with closed eyes is better for texturing, for example. With the grab brush I will revise the shape of the chin, and then with the clay strip brush I will start to lay some muscles and the upper lip. I will then go back for the grab brush and give a more rounded shape to the mouth area, mask the upper lip to be able to drag out the lower lip, and then with the clay strip brush I will flesh out everything, refine those shapes using the crease brush, and then layering new muscles. So I try to follow the flow of muscle using the clay strip brush so that it feels more natural when you smooth things out. I also try to keep some angles on the jaw to make it as hard as possible. Try to increase some of the landmarks I've been working on before, and then I will rework the whole proportions of the face using the grab brush. Before I do so, I will just revise the size of the eyes. This is a mistake I often do, is to make the eyes a bit too big. Now I'm just pulling and pushing the clay using the grab brush to revise the proportions, so he look a bit aggressive for the time being, but I will try to give him a more neutral expression and just try to give better proportions to the whole face. During the whole process, I've been mainly creating the face of the character based on human proportions, as I feel more confident with this. So I really applied what I know about it, watching references, how to brush stuff, how to connect the nose to the mouth. But the problem here is that it doesn't really look like the reference. So what I did is that I just make a copy of the model just to be sure not be missing that much, and having some backup, and then I will rework its proportions to fit more the current reference. So the first thing that is quite obvious is the area between the eyes. The eyes are much far from each other than what I did, and this really changed its face to something more animal-like, which is good. And I will also apply some modification to the base of the nose and stuff like this, just to fit the reference. I can now reposition the eyes and polish a little bit the face using the clay strip brush and smoothing areas so that you look a bit younger, and we have some sculpting that is a little less rough than the previous one. I brush a little the surface to add some resolution and start masking a hole on the side of the head to be able to pull out the hairs. So I will be using the snare hook brush. First pull out a portion of the hair and then making pointy. The benefit of the snake hook brush compared to the grab brush is that it will generate geometry, while the grab brush just move it without generating it, so you will have a lot of stretching. Then using the clay strip brush as usual, I will try to refine the shape make again nice angles, try to dig a bit inside, and then I will refine its position and shape using the grab brush.